This is a beautiful little community. Very nice there. So I'm going to pull around again, and I'm going to try to pull the smokestack on further around. You see it moving. I'm going to show you the photograph again. So you can see the smokestack is way far right. So they were definitely further on the other side of that paved area that you see right there. So at least now we know that this was not behind the house. It was to the right of the house. You walk down to the corner, cross the street, and you come out to this area that they were at right here. So now there is another little piece of the Elvis puzzle right there, friends. All right, so I'm sitting in front of Elvis's house right here where he lived, and I looked up to see the distance from there to Ray Barracks, to where he worked, and it says 16 minutes, 4.9 miles. So let's go, friends. Let's see what it would have looked like. Stay tuned. All right, so I'm driving a stick, so that's going to be a problem. I tried to mount my camera, and I couldn't bring all of my normal equipment just from a weight issue.
Meters, turn right.
So I'm going to go here, and I don't think this was a one-way street back then, but it may have been. So we're going to follow her.
Then, after 150 meters, turn right.
And she's very bossy for a woman with an English accent. I mean, really bossy. But that's okay, I get it. I asked her to tell me how to get somewhere.
After 80 meters, turn right.
I thought it had been 80 meters. I thought it had been 80 meters. So up here I'm going to go left.
At the end of the road, turn left.
And then I'm going to turn back to the right. So all we're trying to do is establish
then, after 150 meters,
what direction he would have gone and how he may have gotten to the base, what it looked like. I know I was here the other day with Chris and his family, and we ended up leaving, heading towards the base, and I saw that salt thing as we were leaving. I recognized it from a photograph, but we were running so late we didn't have time to stop and mess with it. So that's why I'm back today to film that. And I looked for it in the drone. When I sent the Glory up, I looked for it because they said it was in the backyard, which I would have figured would have been over there somewhere, but clearly it was to the right side of the house, back up in there. Stay tuned. No need in getting in a hurry here, I can tell you that. This traffic does not go fast at all. I've sat here a long time, and look, only a few cars went through.
turn left, L3134.
Let's try again. Right down here you'll see that salt thing on the right hand side. And that'll give you an idea about how far away it is. So I think they would walk down that pathway to the salt thing, and that's why they were on that end of it. And there was a field out there, but they also would be in that football field. It's telling me to turn right here. There's the salt thing right there. Man, that thing's kind of choked me up a little bit. I don't know if it's that or the stuff. It's windy today, and you can see a lot of stuff in the air. That's the fire department, and it says the Fuhrer, which I always knew that they called Hitler Fuhrer, but I didn't know that that meant fire. So they were calling him the fire. And I missed my turn talking. So just pretend we turned back there. So that castle out in the distance right there, we'll see it a couple more times. He would have driven by that castle to go to the base, no doubt. Did you notice that that light went red, yellow, green? There's the castle I'm talking about. We're going to drive by it on the way to the base, to Ray Barracks. See that Bad Homburg is 16 kilometers that way, which is a lot further than Bad Nauheim. That right there is the front gate. I don't see a light there anymore, so I'm going across. So this is it. That is the way I believe that he would have probably driven here. So this, friends, is in fact the front gate. So now, I don't think I should probably climb the fence at a military installation, even though it's no longer. But I think sending the glory in may work. Stay tuned. So friends, we're about to go over the gate at Ray Barracks. So you see that the sign was not on the two gate guard things in the front, but on those two pillars right there. So the gate that you see that I just flew over was not there at that time. That's Elvis, of course, standing right in that little area right here, signing autographs. You could see that building in the back of the photograph, and you can also see those two pillars with the Ray Barracks arch, and I'm going to go through the two pillars. So when he drove in, this is what it would have looked like. We'll turn and look around. And as I mentioned, I know a couple of things that this was later. You notice he's got his sergeant stripes. But we're going to fly around just a little bit and look. Man, I wish I could have gone over the fence, but you know what? If I was going to get arrested, I probably don't want it to be in Germany. Don't want to take any chances like that. So Elvis is pulling that young lady's pigtail. I looked for that building. I didn't see it anywhere here, but I'm sure it's there. So I'm just going to kind of fly around a little bit and we'll look a bit, see if we see anything that's familiar. For it to be abandoned or nobody there, it's relatively well kept. It looks pretty good, actually. And some of the buildings they built a fence, and I think they let people live in some of them. So back on the other side, all those tops that you see, little red tops, those look like they were part of the military base at one time, but there's people living in those. And we'll scoot over there and take a look, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And you see that tower out to the right? I just turned past it. That was definitely there when Elvis was there, so I'm sure that he saw that tower. He may have even gone to it. There's no record of that I'm aware of, so we're just going to kind of look around a little bit. But that tower's on the other side of the street where I came up to the stoplight before I crossed the street to go to the entrance of Ray Barracks. It was on my left-hand side. I could see it as I was coming up the street. So it's very prominent. It really sticks up. You'll see it right there. So you can see the road there to its left. So it's to the right of the entrance of Ray Barracks. And so I'm going to head that way just a little bit. And then I'm going to turn and look. And the buildings I was talking about that looked like they might have been part of the base are the buildings over to the right. I'm not sure what that structure is. I wish I'd have had time to go over there and look at it. But, you know, these things, you don't go very often. You can see there's a trampoline there. So people are definitely staying in those buildings. And they look like they were part of the military stuff. People still living there. Just a beautiful place. Look out there in the distance, the mountains. So I'm going to kind of fly around. There's the flagpole right there where they would have had the flag. And I imagine they had some marching and stuff in that little grassy area right there. And I imagine Elvis marched right there. And I also imagine as I fly around, we're going to come up, we'll see the barracks. Look at that little thing for people to climb up there and mess with the antennas. That's something I see a lot in Europe. They have, like for chimneys, they'll have landings for the chimney sweep to step on, which is pretty funny because that's something that happens once a year, and they actually build a structure for the purpose of that. But you can see this place is pretty large in the back. There's a track back there. It looks like a running track, which I would assume they would have exercised back there. And I actually have somebody that I'm going to ask about things like this, about where they ran, if they marched at these places, if they did parades and all that kind of stuff. And when I mean parades, I'm talking about military parades where they march and in order and do all those kinds of things. That looks like something that they would do out in here. But you can see the fence there. There's civilians, there's cars on the far side of the fence. So I'm going to cruise around a little bit and look. And the other thing is I was in Germany where I wasn't able to figure out. The only thing I had with me here is my cell phone. So when you're looking up facts and pictures and stuff, it's hard to see things and understand what things are on a tiny little picture, where here clearly that would be like motorcade. I think that would be garages for them to work on vehicles and stuff. And I'm going to fly back towards the other side over here. And you can see that there's a lot of places here where there's probably buildings and they're missing. Or there was tanks. I don't think there was ever airplanes here. This is not a landing strip type setup. But they had to have places for military vehicles, tanks, jeeps, those kinds of things. And coming up just on the left of the screen, you see all those trees. Those are the barracks right there. So that Elvis stayed in the very front left one. So just to the left of the screen, I'm going to turn and fly towards it. So you see the first set of barracks there with the trees around it. On the far end, on the other side, so it would be on the left side, the far end. Actually, you see there's more barracks there, so it'd actually be the center one on the other side. You see there's 2 trees planted in front of it that are very tall. It's the middle one right there of the 3. The other one actually looks a little smaller. So the one directly middle to the left of that was his barracks right there. And there's actually a photograph of him on the front porch of that getting an award. And that award was for the movie King Creole. And now I'm flying from where his barracks was, and this is the back gate. I'm going to have another clip where I'm at the gate, but this is where I think he would have entered. And I want you to look right here. They have a monument to Elvis right there at the roundabout where that entrance is. So let's turn around and take a look. So you see the little guitar right there. And this thing, I actually walked up to it in another video you've probably already seen. And it looks like it's metal, but it's actually particle board or flake board. So I don't know how long it's going to last. But now we're going to fly back up to the entrance. And you see that tower that I was talking about is on the left. The entrance is up from that roundabout to the right. So what you just saw was the side entrance to the right side. Now we're going to the main gate. So I'm going to fly across the edge of the base. And you know what? I'm glad to have the Glory. This is the smaller Glory. This is the Glory 2 or the Glory also. This is a Mavic, which is a drone that you can travel with. It folds up about as small as a bottle of water, and you can use it with your cell phone. I use it with my iPhone, and that right there is the entrance. So that kind of gives you an idea of what Ray Barracks base looks like now. Another base entrance. This one he may have used, who knows. That looks, period, it looks like it could be that old. But what I wanted to show you was, this is where that's at. They've got that put up. Army home of Elvis Presley, 58 to 1960. There you go. And it is Friedberg, by the way. And I think that 5 means that is Autobahn. So I plan on getting on the Autobahn. So we're coming up on the Autobahn. That 5 right there, that big road that you see, that is the Autobahn. So we're going to see what that is all about. We're getting close. All right, I should be coming up to the Autobahn right here. What I'm going to do is go back south and go back to Bad Nauheim. We're going to see. So when it has that 5 designation, that is the Autobahn. So we're going to see what this is. It's not like you think it is, like it's just one giant road and that's the spot and you can just jump on it and run as fast as you can. It has speed limits. And It has, if you go faster than the posted speed and you have an accident, your liability is actually increased, from the best I can understand. So here we go. Nothing really that special, friends. So I was looking around, and here's another one of these salt things, but this one is a single-sided, and it's got a square lighthouse. Or rectangle, I should say. Wow, these things they're evidently all over town. That one's 3. So they got a bunch of these. It's their jam, if you will, as it were. All right, friends. This photograph right here is Elvis and Priscilla, December 1959, in this restaurant right here. It was the Sportheim restaurant at that time. Now it is closed. It's no longer a restaurant. But that is the location of it. Let's see what it looks like. And this is not even close to the house that they rented. It's not even close to this particular area. You can see that at some point it was turned into a hotel. It looks like it's a bunch of apartments now. But this was the location of it. This is 102 Hopstrasse. That B is pronounced with an S. Hello. So this is the building. And there was almost no cars back here. I started filming in this Grand Central Station. There it is. And this gives you an idea about, you go that way, the hotel is back over there. His house is where they're renting the house was back over in there. So this is the area right here, 102. So that just gives you an idea of what it looks like. Or, yeah, what it looks like now. And all this parking up on the curb looks weird, but they have to do it here. You know, it hit me that when these places were built, there were no cars. So they had no way to prepare for any of that kind of stuff. So they're doing the best they can with the situation. That's why they all jump the curb, and that's how they park. I'm not sure what this is. I know what that is. It's an exercise ball. The window just opened like a ghost. I see a person. But this looks like a little village. So I just wanted to jump out and take a little look-see. Appears to be businesses. saying 1835, so this thing's been here a while. So that means, just like me, the E-Man probably came and looked. Yeah, it says 1905, 1906. Hello. Whenever I say hello, I always try to sound foreign. How am I doing? So it looks like this fountain you can go up in. So let's go up and take a look. Yeah, I'd say it's struggling a little. Looks like she's no longer in operation. They kind of let it die down, disintegrate. Boy, that thing's had some buildup. What is that stuff? It's hard, whatever it is. So just some more stuff in Bad Nauheim, friends. I don't know if you can hear that, but it sounds like I see bees, like what we would call sweat bees. They're probably honeybees, but there's so many of them that I can actually hear them swarming. If those birds would hush, look at them fighting back there. They're flying around fighting. But can you hear this? There's so many bees, it sounds like a swarm. That sounds you would think that a swarm would make. So I got Lori a bracelet and a pair of earrings here in Bad Nauheim. We don't buy trinkets like a plate with Bad Nauheim on it, but she likes jewelry, so that's what I did. Nice little store. This is Michael Kors. They have all kinds of stuff. F.A. Scheidemeister. And Elvis's apartment is right across the park, or the hotel, right across the park. So I'm looking for an ATM, and naturally it's going to be right here by all this. They're replacing this whole street and digging it up and putting new plumbing down and getting it started, fixing her up. Yes, indeed they are. There she is. Ridiculously loud, my God. Woo! Oh, that's painful. That was painful, friends. So this is the church that Elvis was photographed inside of on the other side. Things blows up. Good Lord, I tried to walk around them, and one thing I'll say is these people, when they walk, they will not try to avoid you. They'll walk dead into you. But Elvis was standing right over there, and you can see that side of the church from over there. This is 1904. I just want to see what it looks like inside. Very beautiful. And there's the windows. Look at that pipe organ. Just beautiful. And they're lighting stuff over there. Just amazing. So this is what it looks like inside that church, friends. Pretty nice. Excuse me. I'm allergic to Germany. But there's no question he was filmed or photographed with those windows right there in the background, standing right over there around where those pots are right there. That is not up for debate, friends. That happened right over here. So the problem is the trees are a little bit in the way, but there's the windows. And then he was standing petting a horse, actually. Somewhere along in here. And then he went across the street over where that guy's sitting over there and petted a dog. But there was no paved parts there when he pet the dog over there. So now you know. Happened right here, friends. Elvis tightened up and pet some horses by the church.